Hi kids, welcome back. Today we're going to do some soldering. A few years ago I was looking for some recording mics for my studio, and I did some research on what would be the best cheap mic to buy, because I'm basically money grubbing scum and I don't like to spend a lot of money on anything I don't need to. So I bought a set of mics on Amazon. It was a pair of CAD GXL1200s, and they came with these worthless little pop filters. And then this mic I'm using right now is a GXL2200. I bought them because I read that you could mod them really easy and make them sound a lot better just by adding some new capacitors, and pretty simple soldering job. So that was pretty much the whole reason I bought them. But then now I've owned them for a few years and done some recording with them, never have modded them. But now I bought a new solder rework station, and so I got a bug that I needed to solder something. So I jumped onto eBay and grabbed 3 sets of these capacitors. They're the ones that are supposed to be better than the cheap crappy Chinese ceramic ones in the mics that they came with. For each mic there are 2 metal film capacitors and 1 polystyrene capacitor, and they're supposed to make your mic much smoother sounding. So it came with this PDF that's detailed instructions on how to resolder them. Apparently these mics share a common circuit board with a lot of cheap Chinese mics. They all use the same circuit board, so you can actually do this modification on a bunch of different mics. So all you have to do is just remove 3 of the capacitors and resolder these new ones in their place. Doesn't sound too hard, even I can do it. So let's get on it. Okay, here are the 3 microphones tore apart. There's some really small screws on the 1200 you have to actually tighten to pull the cases off. Hope I didn't strip them. Okay, so on this microphone I have to replace that capacitor and that capacitor, and then I have to replace this capacitor. So I just have to desolder and resolder the new stuff on. With this one, be a little bit rougher, but I have to solder that capacitor there and that capacitor there, and then I'll have to remove those 2 screws and flip the board over, and there's the other capacitors on the back of this board right there. So let's get on it. Alright, one done. This resistor on the back, and those are the two on the front. A little more intense than I thought. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be, so it was kind of wasn't too terribly hard, but I've had easier times, so I guess we'll try the other two now. Alright, got the big one done too. It seemed to be a little bit easier. I had to take the one board off, unsolder that wire right there. But we're all back together, so let's go put the cases back on and see if we can get it working. Alright, well, got it put back together. Seems to be working. I don't know how much better it sounds. We'll have to record some music or some singing or something just to see if it sounds a little better, but wasn't too rough to do. All in all, it wasn't too rough of a project. Like I say, my eyes are getting bad. I probably need to get one of those magnifying glass head things. If you guys can tell any difference in the microphone, let me know in the comments. If this was at all interesting, like and subscribe. So we'll talk to you later. Okay, well, I'm back. I just realized while I was editing this video that I made a few mistakes and I left out probably a lot of information that you guys would probably want to know. I know when I was soldering, I called a capacitor, a resistor, and I said I was finished with the big mic when I still had to solder the wire from the capsule back onto the board. But those all got fixed and the microphones are working. So I think there's definitely a difference in the sound of the mics now. This one seems to be a lot less boomy and clearer, I think. I have a pretty nasal voice and it seems to help with that, I think. So I guess I should tell you guys the way I'm recording these things. I'm running from this mic into a Behringer UM2 interface with 48 volt phantom power, and then I have the line outs running right from the Behringer into my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. The UM2's set to about 45% on both the gain and the output, and the camera mic input set to 10% because the Blackmagic preamps aren't that great on this camera, and I mean the Behringer's not that expensive of a preamp either, but it works good for YouTube videos for me. And I know it would sound better if I actually ran from the Behringer through USB into the computer and then synced it in post, but I'm too lazy to do that. And the before and after sections on the video, I haven't touched at all. They're just raw audio from the mic. And then the soldering portion was just a Rode video mic plugged directly into a Canon SL1 camera, and it was recorded in my kitchen. So the audio is pretty horrible on that part, but that's the way things go. So on this section, I'm going to do my best to EQ everything as good as I can, run some high and low pass filters, normalizing, parametric EQ, maybe even some compression. I'm no audio engineer, but I'll try and make it sound the best I can so you can hear what's possible with this mic. I think having better audio, clearer audio to start with is going to give me a little better point to start from, and hopefully I can make it sound good. So let me know what you think. Bye for now.